We are recording. I don't know why I record things anymore, but
I don't know.
it's just like living proof of how. Is that?
I am the yeast of thoughts and minds. Schwabble, dabble, glibber, glabber, schwibble, schwab, glub. Gibble, double, shwibble, shabble, glibber, glab, schwab. Schwabble, double, glibber, glibber, schwibble, schwab, dab. Gibble, double, shwibble, shabble, glibber, schwab, glab. Ooh, splendid.
Okay.
Right as we started recording. That's great.
I know, isn't it? It was very informative information. We needed it on the recording.
All right. So from the other day, we took a look at part of this slide deck and figuring out what the United States was looking at as far as peace and what the rest of the world was looking at as far as peace in terms of following World War I. And just to kind of go back through, we looked at a political cartoon about the fact that there was so much happening, and we talked about the fact that the peace of Europe was dead before World War I started. But after it started, you had a bunch of countries that were at fault, but everyone wanted to blame somebody else, which we identified. Then we talked about President Wilson's 14 points, his plan for world peace, his idea about a League of Nations or a support system of world nations to prevent future wars, and the fact that he brought these 14 points with him. The Treaty of Versailles was the only thing within the Treaty of Versailles of the 14 points really was the League of Nations. We're going to look more about the fact of how the United States is going to react to the Treaty of Versailles based on the terms of the treaty, which were the last things that we looked at, because Germany had to sign a war guilt clause. They had to pay $33 billion in reparations. They did not get to join the League of Nations, and their military was significantly reduced, and their colonies were taken away from them. A lot of punishment was given to Germany, and the United States was in the opinion, a lot of people were in the opinion that it was too harsh. So this is where we're going to start. Once the Treaty of Versailles was brought to the United States, the terms was brought to the United States, and it was brought before Congress. Congress has to vote whether or not to accept the terms of the treaty. And to ratify the treaty, and it says it here, it says that according to the U.S. Constitution, all treaties must be ratified or signed into law by the Senate by a 2/3 vote. The president may negotiate a treaty, but it will not go into effect unless it is approved by the Senate. So basically, within Congress, you had three groups. And I typed originally this part of the assignment had you typing like the descriptions of these people in the box, but I went ahead and did that. So we are going to kind of go through this together. And if you look at this spectrum, what it's asking you to do is to drop these boxes where they fit as far as their views go in fully opposing the Treaty of Versailles to fully supporting. Okay? So Ms. Housley, if you'll drag that supporters box to the fully support side over here. There we go. So all you need to do is do the same thing. All right. The supporters, these were people in the Senate that supported the treaty and said the U.S. needed to sign it to protect itself in the future. So join the League of Nations and agree to the terms of the treaty. Real simple. Okay. And then you had the group that were known as the reservationists. The reservationists were in the middle. They did not say that they fully supported, and they said that they did not fully oppose. But this group had problems with signing the treaty because of some of the terms, but most of them agreed with being in the League of Nations, but they did not completely agree with the harshness of the terms towards Germany. So the last group, obviously, and I have a hard time saying this word, the irreconcilable. This group was fully opposed to signing the treaty. They did not want to be involved in the League of Nations, period. Plus, the terms were too harsh against Germany, but they said that the League of Nations would drag them into wars in the future. World War I was bad enough, and the United States was only in it for like 1 year. So, in our, this first idea here, understand that most of your senators fit into either the irreconcilables or the reservationists. And the 2/3 vote never happened. Never, ever happened. So the United States does not sign the Treaty of Versailles. Now, we are actually going to skip to slide number 7, and we'll go back to slide number 6 because it's the excuse me. It is the most difficult slide to get through, and one that you all we're going to get some conversation out of. So the 7th slide is looking at how the treaty is defeated in the Senate. And there it is. All right. So the Republicans are represented by the red. The Democrats are represented by the blue. Now, it says, despite Wilson's efforts, the Senate rejected the Treaty of Versailles, made a separate peace with Germany, and did not join the League of Nations. So we've already stated these things. But I want to ask you a question. What does anybody know? Was Woodrow Wilson a Republican or a Democrat? Does anybody know?
Democrat.
All right. He was a Democrat. So if you look at this, and there's a few ways to look at this totally, but if we go to our questions first, so what percent voted no? If you look at this, what percent of the Senate voted no, which is also represented by nay? What percent? Dakota, what percent does that say?
I don't know.
Right there.
There, right here. What does that say?
58%.
58 what? Percent. There you go. All right. So 58% of the senators voted no to the approval of the Treaty of Versailles. And you had 4 that abstained from voting, 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats. Now, here's the next part of this. And if you look, the blue, again, are Democrats, which are Woodrow Wilson is a Democrat. And then Republicans are in the red. Now, these boxes, if it is a open box. Okay, so if it's a red open box, it's a Republican that voted no. If it's a filled in red box, it is a Republican that voted yes to approving the treaty. And then the blue, if it's filled in, it's yes. And if it's not filled in, it is no for the Democrats. So, question. Describe how the vote was split along party lines. Who voted against the Treaty of Versailles and who voted for it? Which group voted for it and which group voted against it?
Hello?
Bueller.
Bueller.
Look at the filled in boxes. Which color voted yes?
What color has the most filled in boxes?
Democrats.
Okay, so the Democrats voted to support the Treaty of Versailles. The open boxes are mainly
Is that
red
right?
or blue.
Did I spell it wrong? Or is it okay?
It needs an S.
On the end?
Yeah.
Okay.
You think about Versailles.
Oh, yeah.
All right, and the Republicans voted against the Treaty of Versailles. Oh, happy day.
Happy day.
Sister Act 2 was on TV last night.
How was it?
One of the movie channels.
See, I don't have TV. Like, I don't have TV. I just use YouTube and stuff like that.
Let's see. All right. So again, this is just to give you an idea about the fact. If you were to make a connection to today in 2020, and when you look at this in the late 19 teens, do you find it surprising that the Republicans voted against the Treaty of Versailles based on the fact that Woodrow Wilson was a Democrat? And I kind of answered the question right there. But, you know, I wish we had more time to talk about this and make a connection, because a lot of people talk about how the government and how everybody votes along party lines and not for what's good or what's best. It's happened throughout United States history. Like, it hasn't changed. It's just the fact that we have so much media coverage now that it's becoming common knowledge that people know this. But again, the Treaty of Versailles is voted down. The United States is not going to join the League of Nations, or this peacekeeping body. So we're going to go to number 6. And again, we've got 9:35 to 10:05. We've got about 9 minutes. And usually when we do this, and Miss Housley's been in these stations, Coach Mason has been lucky enough to do this. But this is a really, really cool cartoon. Mm-hmm. And it is one that I wish we had more time to talk about. Usually you'd be spending about 15, 20 minutes in a station looking at this cartoon and analyzing it. So this is looking at the fate of the League of Nations. So normally what we would do, okay, is we would go through this like piece by piece, and it would help you in understanding the meaning behind it. But let's just start with this question. Who is this person right here? that I'm circling. What did Alex say?
Uncle Sam.
All right, Uncle Sam. Should we assume that they know who Uncle Sam is?
I would hope so.
Coach Mason, what do you think?
You might want to explain it.
I hope so.
Okay, so Uncle Sam is not your passed out from eating too much turkey uncle on the recliner, okay? That's not who Uncle Sam is. Uncle Sam is a figure that represents the United States of America, all right? He's been around for a very long time. He probably became most prominent on a World War I or it was World War I poster that he's pointing at you and say, "I want you," or "We need you," or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, look at the sign, okay? Now, if you look at this right here, this is the bridge, okay? And it says, this League of Nations bridge was designed by the President of the USA. Now, why does it say that the bridge was designed by the President of the USA?
Hello?
What do you think? Why does it say that the bridge was designed by the President of the United States? The countries that are listed on this bridge actually joined the League of Nations. Okay?
That has been said because the League of Nations was one of his 14 points.
There you go. So, the League of Nations was the idea of President Wilson. All right? So, my next question to you is this bridge complete?
No, Alex says.
All right. Oh, no, it's not. Okay? There's a piece missing. What piece is missing?
It's missing the center arch point, Alex says.
All right. And what country is that center arch point supposed to represent? Obviously.
Hello?
What is he leaning up against, people?
What does it say? Jameson, what's that block say?
It says, which you mean the block that he's leaning on?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it says Keystone USA.
USA,
Right.
USA, USA.
So,
Oh, you're recording this. I forgot. Sorry.
well, you didn't say, really?
Well, it doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
Miss Housley played the Glob Go Gab Go album.
So from this cartoon, does it seem like the U.S. joined the league? And we already know the answer is what? Did the U.S. join the League of Nations?
No, Alex says.
No.
Okay, no. And from this cartoon, how do we know that they did not join it? Because what is not there? Because that piece is missing from the bridge. So the USA piece is missing from the bridge. That's the idea here. Now, the question below is, what is a keystone? All right, 1, don't say a movie theater. 2, don't say beer. 3, we need to figure out what the correct answer is. And it says Google it if you need to. But what does it symbolize that it is missing from the bridge? Does anybody know what is a keystone?
It's like the most important part that like holds everything together, right?
Yes. So a keystone is the most important part of a structure that holds it all together. So in this cartoon, what country is the most important part of the League of Nations?
The U.S.
The USA. And the USA did not join it, is, again, the key point here. Again, these cartoons, this is one of my favorite cartoons for you all to look at because the look on your faces, like when you make the connection between like what is going on with the Treaty of Versailles and the League of Nations and how it ties into this cartoon, it's kind of cool to see. But all we see are icons, so, you know, whatever. All right. So we got a couple of minutes left here just to kind of recap. The United States does not sign the Treaty of Versailles. The Democrats vote for the Treaty of Versailles, in support of it. The Republicans vote against it. You do have some Democrats that vote against it, as you see here. But obviously, it is a heavy in favor of against, a 58% no vote. And then we looked at the point of the United States doesn't join the League of Nations. So therefore, the most important part of it is not there. So ultimately, the League of Nations fails, mainly because the United States does not join it. Now, you should have all of these complete. And if you don't, then you'll have the recording once it goes up on Google Classroom. Some of you just like to be silent and need to be slapped upside the face. And that's a joke, kind of. Alex, I appreciate you, Jameson, Cody. Dakota, you chimed in a time or two, mainly when you were asked.
Bonus points, Alex says.
Alex, you don't need no bonus points. Lord have mercy. All right. So, does anybody have any questions about anything?
Thank you, Alex.
I don't have anything.
Thank you, Jameson.
Thank you, Jameson. Dakota, you got any questions?
Nope.
Thank you, Dakota. Remember to stop recording, Mr. Sparrow.
Oh, yeah. Before you say something. You sound like my mom.
Now listen here.